listening to the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast. I'm Sarah.
I'm Erin.
I'm Bree.
And I'm Rachel.
We're talking about food today, ladies.
Yeah.
These food episodes are super duper fun. You might want to get out your shopping lists maybe now so that when we get to the end of this episode, you know what you want to buy. It is an Iron Ladle challenge. It is summer. It is VBS season. And what better way to celebrate VBS than with food and snacks? Because we all love snacks.
Snacks are the best.
Snacks are the best. So we are talking about VBS snacks in our Iron Ladle challenge today. And Erin, tell us more about what we're going to experience today.
So today I decided it would not be an ingredient. That would not be the thing that ties it together. Instead, our challenge was to create a VBS themed snack that goes with a Bible story that you might study in VBS. And that was the instructions for it. I will say that I, as the leader of this one, slightly deviated from the stated parameters.
Of course you did.
That's okay.
It is okay.
It's very on brand.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that was what we had to do, because originally we were talking and we're like, oh, we should all use the same thing. And I was like, okay, no, I feel no inspiration for that. So I wanted more freedom. Wanted more freedom in my choice.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we also, aside from being just VBS snacks, bonus points if this is a snack that doubles as a craft, where the kids are involved in some way. Because obviously, if we can have snacks that pull double duty as craft time too, then that is a VBS leader's dream.
It is.
See, I thought it was supposed to be both kind of a deal.
That is great. Again, I deviated from that.
My snack is not a craft.
Because, my snack is not a craft. And also, I've been really busy with other things. And so I might have had a little mission drift between the initial vision casting and the implementation, which was last night.
Mine was too.
I love that you're using all these project management buzzwords right now. Like you can tell that you're in project mode right now.
Mission drift. I'm going to use that with my kids.
That's right.
Implementation, like vision. Like you literally just said vision casting.
Boom,
You literally said
About
that.
an Iron Ladle challenge. It's fine.
So, in light of all of that, do you want me to go first, since I'm like maybe the most off base, or do you want me to come in at the end?
Can I go first? Because I feel like mine would be like the textbook. What you're looking
see.
for.
I can't.
Or
even
maybe
imagine
Rachel's based upon what I know.
Okay, yeah, I think, Erin, we should save you for last because...
Excellent, because I think that'll be great. Let's stay a little bit on topic, and then we'll take a little...
Some of us who actually follow the direction.
We can drift away.
Yes.
At the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
As the vision cast
That's
recasts.
Right. That's right. Okay.
So what I have for you today, chefs, is Joseph's Joseph's Amazing Technicolor Dream Coat. TM. I have made Joseph's coat that he is given by his father Jacob in the form of graham crackers, snacks, frosting, and candy.
Oh my goodness!
So what I did was I got a sleeve of graham crackers, I got a can of frosting, I got some like gummy bears and sprinkles and M&M, like rainbow candies. Like let's be honest. And we can talk modifications later because this is a diabetic's nightmare, okay? Like, I had no business coming up with this recipe. Like, I just didn't. So what I did was I took a whole graham cracker, okay, and I used vanilla frosting. I spread it with vanilla frosting. I took a separate half, like a graham cracker half, and then I snapped that in half. So I had like graham cracker quarters. And what I did was I stuck, using the icing, I stuck them in like the upper left and right hand corners
like
of the
this.
full graham cracker to make sleeves, right? There's your coat.
So it's shaped sort of like a T.
Yeah, it's like a T
A little
shape.
T.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And then I just decorated it with candies and sprinkles. And I think that is definitely something that a child would love to do.
Absolutely.
Candy, custom snacks, like yes, go to town.
Oh boy.
But let me talk to you folks, you crunchy moms out there who are like, that's a bad idea. Here are some modifications that I would like to suggest to you. Okay.
If you say put hummus on a graham cracker, I'm hanging up.
I almost laughed like I cackled directly into, and all of the speakers in this room would have
I
exploded.
mean, I'm crunchy, but VBS, all rules go out.
Yeah. And actually, I didn't even think hummus. That actually might not be a terrible idea.
You know, though, there's dessert hummus
There
that
is
doesn't
dessert
actually
hummus.
taste like hummus.
Yeah.
So I've heard. I haven't actually had it
I'm not
yet.
convinced it's actually hummus. I think
Does it have
it's just,
garbanzo beans in it?
It's like
I think it's just pudding.
it's like garbanzo beans with a lot of sugar and flavoring in it. So
Okay,
it's
okay.
essentially still frosting.
Okay, sure. So you could use cake frosting. You could it doesn't necessarily have to be white. So you
Whipped
could
cream.
You could use whipped cream. You could use peanut butter.
Peanut butter would
You
be
could
good.
you could use like cream cheese, like a softened or a whipped cream cheese.
Ooh, on cinnamon graham crackers. That would
yeah.
be so good.
Anything that like is sticky. You could use honey and maybe not on the whole thing, but like maybe to stick the sleeves on.
Honey and VBS sounds like a bad idea.
I love it, naturally. They should do the Samson story and eat honey out of a lion, like a lion carcass. Here, kids. Take
Honey is right up there with glitter, as it gets everywhere, and you will never see the end of it.
Nice. But then, okay, then let's talk about like the accoutrement. Like, what are you using to decorate the robe, right? You could use sliced fresh fruit. You could use vegetables.
Dried fruit.
You could use dried fruit. You could use fruit roll-ups. I think that this is a snack that is customizable enough that you could cater to a wide variety of palates and diet requirements, things like that. So that is mine. Joseph's graham cracker colorful robe coat thing.
Not gonna lie, when you said that that's what you were doing, I totally thought it was gonna have something to do with fruit roll-ups.
You know what? I am a wild card like that because I almost did that. I almost did. You use some little fruit by the foot action, little tie-dye, little fruit roll-up action, little tongue tattoos.
Tongue tattoos?
They have fruit roll-ups with tongue tattoos.
What?
Where were those when I was 7?
Well, that's an excellent segue to my recipe because I totally had a where was that when I was growing up moment during the planning for this recipe. So I did not have a whole lot of time or energy or creativity to spare for this, full disclosure. However, I think that makes it perfect because I know a lot of VBS leaders out there are stretched thin and looking for something cheap, quick, and easy, and this is your snack.
Yep.
So the story of Jonah resonates with our family a lot these days because my husband has been in the belly of the whale, and although in this case it's a Navy ship.
It's on top of the water.
And he'll be spit out one of these days, and then life will be good. But in the meantime, Jonah and Jonah's prayer and all of that are very meaningful for our family. And so I wanted to do something Jonah related and also something Jello related because I know we love our gelatin-based desserts in the Lutheran Ladies Lounge.
Yes.
So what I did, super simple, is took some blue Jello. This was my ocean. But I did not actually use Jello because as I was cruising down the Jello aisle, I noticed that Starburst now makes gelatin.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And they had blue raspberry, which I know is not actually found in nature.
Or a Starburst flavor for that matter.
I know. I think they stole that from Jolly Rancher or something. But whatever. I'm sure their legal team worked it out. Blue raspberry, Starburst, gelatin, and I won't say Jello because Jello is trademarked. Starburst gelatin dessert. And that's what I started as my ocean. And I could have just made Jell-O according to package directions. If I make this for home again, I will probably put it in a bowl and make it a fish bowl.
Yes.
Yes. But this time I wanted to do jigglers because kids. Jigglers are better.
Yes.
My teenage son has asked me please not to use the word jiggler.
I was going to say, that's
because it makes him uncomfortable. The teenagers
Jigglers
are
is
not
like-
your VBS crowd.
Jigglers is like on the same level as moist.
We can cut this entire part of the conversation out. Please, Sarah.
If they aren't jigglers, what do you call them?
I know jiggler is the brand name.
Knox blocks.
Knox blocks.
All
That's
right.
alternative name.
Nax blacks.
Max Blocks.
Max
It's
Black.
also trademarked, I'm sure, because that's a brand of gelatin.
Probably.
Knox.
Okay, but I guess
But
I can't use jiggler anyway because that is a trademark to Jell-O.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
We
Or you
made
could just put it over
Starburst condensed gelatin squares.
That's a terrible name.
Jiggly squares. They're jiggly squares.
Jiggly squares. All right. So I made 2 packages of the Starburst blue gelatin, put it in a pan, and let it cool to room temperature.
Mm-hmm.
While I was letting it cool, I thought, we're going to need some, grid lines here. So I used masking tape to sort of mark out my my gelatin jiggly square lines.
Parameters.
Masking tape over the top of the pan, indicating where the individual bars will go. You'll see why in a minute. Once it cooled down to room temperature, each square got a Sour Patch Kid and either a gummy shark or a Swedish fish.
Oh my goodness
Okay.
gracious.
Now, I really wanted to have the Jonah in the fish, but that wasn't possible. So we're recreating the scene right before Jonah gets swallowed. Like, Jonah's in the water, he's drowning, but the fish is on its way. Like, I'm gonna get you, Jonah.
Uh-huh.
And it won't be pleasant, but you'll be alive.
But some of them are sharks.
I'm going to get you, Jonah.
Well, the Bible says fish, not whale. So
Sharks
we
are
use
fish.
fish. We use fish, not. You can't find gummy whales anyway, so it's all right.
I love
Okay.
it.
So, and my first grader helped me with this entire craft, so I can tell you that it is kid friendly. She loved
Okay.
picking out the different color combinations because we got the rainbow Swedish fish, of course. That
Yes.
went in each square. And then very carefully we set it in the fridge, and I used a chopstick because this was unset Jell-O and everything got shifted around when I stuck it in the fridge. Anyway, but I had my convenient line, so I was able to put the pieces back where they needed to be. Let chill for 4 hours-ish, pull it out, cut it up, and each square had delicious Starburst gelatin plus gummy candy.
Mm.
Fun effect. Okay, so I will tell you, some kids wouldn't mind this. A couple of mine did. Is that the gummy candy, the consistency, it changes being in the gelatin.
Oh,
Like it melts
yeah.
the edges a little bit. The inside gets a little harder. So if you don't like that, they pop out super easily. You can just have your Jell-O squares. But the fun thing is once you pop out the gummy candy, it leaves this wonderful little impression, a perfect mold.
Awesome.
So you can still see the eyes and the smiley face on your Sour Patch Kid that pops out, and it just makes this coolest gelatin mold of a fish and a man who's about to get swallowed by the fish. So, yes, that was our craft, and it was gone almost as soon as it pulled out, although I did have to throw away a couple of soggy Swedish fish that got rejected. But the child approved very much of the simplicity and customizability of the craft. So hopefully that will make it work for people out there.
Yeah.
I have a question about Jell-O, and maybe this is just because I didn't have enough Jell-O growing up. Is there a difference between regular Jell-O and jigglers in how you make it?
Yes. Okay, so regular Jell-O, you add, for each, I think it's 3 ounces, you add a cup of boiling water and then a cup of ice water or cold water that will cool it down quickly. If you're making the Jiggly Squares version of this, you add the boiling water, skip the cold water. And so
Oh.
what
I
it
didn't
makes
realize it
is
was different.
Mm-hmm.
it makes a more concentrated, denser form that then can be picked up and handled. Whereas the classic Jell-O, you have to pretty much eat with a spoon.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but it's recommended.
By that rule. I don't live by that rule.
Well, that's really good to know. I didn't know that.
I
so,
didn't either.
because I just have regular gelatin at home because I can't use the stuff out of a box.
Right.
Yeah,
But making the coffee Jello that I did when
Yep.
we did our epic Jello episode, I was trying to eat it with my fingers and it was not working. But
Yeah.
that would be why. So I can totally make jiggly
Just make it
coffee
more
Jello
concentrated.
squares.
Yeah,
Oh
for
my goodness.
sure. Yeah.
This is life changing.
I will tell you, the variation that I want to try in the future is to get whichever bowl of mine is the closest to a fish bowl and fill it with blue Jell-O according to the classic recipe. But then when it's partially set, add like an entire bag of gummy fish.
Yes.
Just have a fish bowl of gummy.
Chocolate mix on the bottom.
You could totally just make an edible fish bowl
Like
with
a
like
fish bowl
everything.
scene.
Yep.
According to Martha Stewart, from whom I got this idea because she's so excellent. You want to make it great? Add nerds, like a bunch of nerds at the bottom. For your
Yes.
I
You
think
could
that
do
would be such a stunning dessert.
use like a seltzer water.
Oh,
do
yeah,
like
yeah. Bubbly. So you would make boiling water plus bubbly water.
Be
Oh,
bubbly.
I love this. Okay, so it's not Jonah and the Whale, but it could be really fun.
Yeah.
I'm
We
doing
need
it.
like Jello epic episode round 2 with all these ideas.
The 2021 Olympics.
Yes.
Olympics. Yes.
Jello-Olympics.
Maybe it'll be 2022.
Yeah,
But still.
like actual,
That's right.
like every other year.
I'm inspired to go make some Jello this weekend.
I'm just
Yeah.
really hungry.
That's right. Coffee Jello.
I want some blue Jello right now.
Is it
That sounds pretty fantastic, Rachel. And the picture that you shared, it looks
It's beautiful.
Enchanting as
fantastic.
heck.
Exactly. And the fact that it's also a win with the eaters
Mhm.
is important.
Yes.
So
I think it's a better Bible story than the Joseph Coat story.
Props.
I
This is
really
a better Bible story.
Unlike Breeze, there is no substitution I could recommend that will not make this a sugar-laced, diabetic dream.
raw broccoli.
So it is intended mostly for people whose pancreases are less than 15 years old.
Yes,
well, I mean,
correct.
I feel you could do something though. The only thing, like, you might have to resort to cutting out like some sort of your characters. You might have to do some substitution, but you could totally do like the cranberry concentrate that Sarah uses. You could
Yeah.
totally make gelatin out of that, and so
Blueberry juice.
yeah, blueberry. Like you could. I feel you could.
You could-
work with the
yeah.
gelatin base,
Right.
But you would have to be creative
What's like
with
natural
that.
sweeteners?
Maybe you'd have to.
I mean, you could put little Lego guys in there and just not eat them.
That's true. They
That's
would meet the
cool.
mold.
Lego
Clean your
characters.
Legos really thoroughly, please, before you do this.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, I wonder if you could
Beach
even
bath.
using it would get bigger, but I wonder if you could use like a little cookie cutter and cut out like a little fish shape out of
Oh, yeah.
an apple slice or something. Instead
Yeah.
of like you'd waste it, but they could just eat then the cut up pieces
Yeah.
of apple.
Goldfish
Maybe
cracker?
something.
Oh, I don't know. That might get weird and
That's
jealous. You
weird.
could like put them on top.
I'm unsure of that one.
Yeah, I feel that's
I said it immediately, and I'm like, oh.
We just need to lean on the fact that this is a completely fat-free dessert, loaded with sugar, and then balance it out with something healthier on the next day. So with that, I'm going to toss it to Sarah.
Yes.
My snack consists of 0 candy, so I'm sorry.
yeah. It's beautiful though. I love it.
So I actually struggled with this one quite a bit because so many VBS snacks are sugar, candy, prepared food, packaged stuff.
Mhm.
So this was a challenging one for me to figure out a Bible story that I could make with food. The one that I really liked that I didn't actually have time to make, but that I may go back and make later is Noah's Ark with like a banana as the ark, and you put nut butter on top of it, and then you put animal crackers on top of that. It was adorable and I mean delicious, but
You're the cutest.
I needed to like buy animal cracker cookie cutters so I could make my own cookies, and that just wasn't going to happen. So next time I want to like make a snack, I need to buy. They have little mini animal cracker cookie cutters
Oh my gosh.
online that I need to buy so I can make my own. But anyway, that isn't what I actually made. That took too much work. So I love the story of creation. And especially doing it in VBS, there's just so many parts of the story of creation that you can do. I mean, you can do an entire week of VBS just on the story of creation. So I thought, oh, hey, I could make like, I don't know, something with an apple. Like, here, kids, have an apple for the fall into temptation. But that's kind of boring because it's just an apple.
Yeah.
Don't do any crimes, kids.
And I thought, I could like slice up the apple and maybe make a tree out of something. And then I think one of you actually, Rachel, you may have actually suggested doing kale as the tree. And I thought, it's actually not a bad idea. So I have a mini pile of kale, which I know sounds terrible to kids, but I'll do substitutions in a minute. A little pile of kale. And I put a few apple slices, like thin apple slices around the outside of it. And then I put some of my dried cranberries in the middle so that it was like a little colorful tree. And then I drew a stalk with my almond butter. So it has a little stalk on the stalk.
Straight up trunk.
Trunk. Tree trunk, tree stalk.
Tree stalk. Foot sandal. I mean, come on.
I drew the tree trunk with this like dollop of almond butter so you have something to dip the apples into. And then I drizzled, I know honey is like the terrible thing, but I drizzled some honey on top of all of it too to give it a little bit of a sweet kick to it.
It's a work of art. Like the photo, I'm just like, it's a work of art. It's gorgeous.
It's my beautiful tree of the knowledge of good and evil, but you're not supposed to eat it. So
don't eat this.
And so I tried, and it's actually.
Don't know that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was an apple tree. Maybe the tree of life was an apple tree. Let's just have the tree of life.
It can be the tree of life. I like that. Let's make it the tree of life.
Have kale on it, though. I'm sorry.
But it's the kale.
I'm kidding.
The kale was actually, so I ate it this morning as part of my breakfast because I made it last night. I also forgot about doing this because life has been crazy for like all of us recently.
Me about it. Oh my gosh.
So I ate it as part of my breakfast this morning, and I like dipped the apples into the sweetened almond butter with a little bit of kale and a cranberry. It was actually really good. Granted, I'm an adult. I don't know if children would find it as appealing.
I'm going to tell you that VBS is a great time to introduce children to the miracle that is kale. All of my kids have grown up eating it. They'll just walk through the garden and pick a leaf and eat it right there on the spot. There is no law that says that kids can't like kale, especially when it's fresh and raw and they can just eat it with their fingers.
And
VBS is just, it's a special vibe.
It's true. Yeah. And it's not that much. It's like a little, because I put this on like a snack size plate. So it's not like there's that much of any of this because it's a snack. So I was thinking through this morning, though, if people don't want to use the things that only I can eat, sun butter is always a really good substitution for any other nut butter. It's typically the most non-allergenic butter of that sort. I can't eat it, which is ironic. But typically, if like you have peanut or almond or other nut allergies, sun butter is typically pretty safe for stuff. So you could use that. You could use some maple syrup or just like regular cane sugar if you wanted to sweeten the nut butter a little bit. We just aired our episode with Beth Ritzman about microgreens. You could totally use microgreens as the tree part, especially if they're nice and sweet. That would be amazing. Or like baby kale or baby spinach or something that's a little bit a lighter, sweeter flavor for the leaves. You could totally use that. I don't know. I would probably keep the apple because kiddos love apples. But you could put like any kind of little dried fruit or nuts or, I mean, if you wanted to put like, I don't know, something actual candy on the tree, but that might taste kind of weird with the fruit.
Shredded iceberg lettuce.
I would not suggest shredded iceberg lettuce.
Don't take me up on that.
Cabbage. Yeah. You could totally put blueberries on there or like diced up strawberries or anything that's like really colorful. You could totally put that in the middle and have it as like a little salad-y kind of thing. So I did actually joke about like literally making a salad for this. It's like, here's the garden of Eden. Have a salad, kids. But
and if you wanted to make it straight fruit, you could always use kiwi for your leaves.
I just had that thought too.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. You could totally do that. Or like avocado or something and make it kind of fluffy in the middle instead. Yeah, there's tons of things. Like I was just thinking about colors and shapes and how you could kind of just create a tree shape with random things that are safe to eat.
how did you spread your nut butter? Because I'm thinking maybe piping bag for if you're having kids. But did you just use a knife, or how'd you get that beautiful shape?
Got a spoon, and I dug my spoon in my jar, and I just kind of shook it and smeared it on the plate.
Looks fancy.
I did not think it was going to look that good.
It's
and
like a 3 Michelin star plate.
It turned out looking like a legit tree trunk. So I was pretty happy about that. I was not sure about that part. The other thing I did think about, you could use like a celery stalk and like put the almond butter or whatever in the celery stalk to make a tree and like put some in the typical like ants on a log thing. Yeah.
Love that.
tons of different ways you could edit it to make it your own. But I don't know. It was delicious. I liked it. There you go. And it's healthy.
Yeah.
Because that's what every kid wants.
Yes.
Give
4
me
out
a
of 5
healthy
kids.
snack.
Yes. I can't wait to hear yours, Erin.
I'm really curious.
Yeah. So, okay. So I don't know. I was just feeling contrary, and I wanted to do similar to Bree, as often happens with her. I was like, I want to do something a little different. And I was like, I don't want to do one of the regular VBS stories. So I decided the thing to do was to take my theme from a non-typical VBS story. So I settled on judges. And so I'm going to send you
story from judges.
I selected 2 stories from judges, and I have sent you the picture of what I made. And I made this, and I brought it last night to supper with the family that I have supper with every week. And that way I could get the kids' impressions on it. And so they had to look at it and be like, what is that?
What is that?
Well, the vision was so clear in my head when I decided this is what I wanted to create.
Is it an
that
armadillo?
I was committed.
Arachnopod?
It looks like is that an afro?
Look at it does look like an afro.
It's the honey and the lion.
Is that the honey and the lion?
It really happened. It is a lion pull apart bread.
Look at its stupid face.
This lion was literally drenched in honey butter. It was so delicious. It looks ridiculous.
I think you broke Bree.
I carved a little lion face into the little roll that I used. And then I used this bigger boule, sort of a round loaf for the mane, and I carved out a space for his little head to go. But then I was like, I should have did it. I was already committed. I had a practice roll that I did a first try with the face of the lion, and it went badly, and I just ate that one. I should have taken a picture. It looked like an alien face, and I was like, oh dear, that's no good. So I just ate that one. So I could practice the lion's face, but the mane, I didn't have a backup. I had one loaf.
One
so
afro.
I wish exactly. I wish that I had made the little place for the head to be a little more in the middle of it, because afterwards I realized, I was like, oh yeah, lion mane usually does go down below its chin as well.
It looks like an Egyptian lion.
So anyway, yeah, it was delicious though. It was utterly delicious. It's just drenched in honey butter. I had out my little pastry brush, and I put it in between all the different little slices.
This
and
is
then
my gut hurts.
This is VBS for kids who go to cooking school.
Yeah, or for moms maybe. So
if you let the moms know, they will show up on Honey Lion Day. And
Exactly.
you know what? There's a lot of grace in this recipe, because if you read the actual story, I mean, the honey was in a half-rotted dead lion carcass. So
this looks much more appealing.
Yeah.
You've got some room to like mess up and still be within the parameters of the original story.
Presented with both
Very
options,
true.
I would pick your craft.
Yeah.
Before a mouthful of rotten lion.
And I will also say, we're all like dying at these pictures. These are in the show notes for today's episode. So if you're listening to this, either on our website or on our podcast, be sure you actually go look at this picture while you're listening, because
I'm gonna have nightmares about this thing's face.
Because it broke Bree, so y'all are gonna enjoy it too.
It's like this. It's like.
So I was like, so I made a second craft because
this is not what I think it is. This is not what
it is. Also for judges.
I have a terrible idea about what this is, and I don't
Listeners
want to.
out there, we have not previewed this at all. Erin is sending us these photos as she introduces each recipe. So we are completely cold on this. And I have no idea what I'm looking at right now. Tell me, please, Erin.
In this case, we had last night. I was like, okay, well, can you guys guess which story these are with? So the lion honey, everyone got there. They were able to guess that. There's a lot of lions in the Bible, actually. Mm-hmm. So speaking of that, my lion pull-apart bread is actually versatile. You could use this for like Daniel and the Lion's Den.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I like that.
For that, lions show up in the Bible.
That's pleasant.
In other places. So there's that. But this one, these are meatballs.
No.
And with a pretzel. And
no, don't say it.
I was like, when we were discussing it last night, when I offered this to this family, I was like, so I don't think that this story was covered in any VBS. I don't think it's ever covered in Sunday school either.
Why would it?
But then I was like, do you have any ideas of what it could be? Well, one of the kids thought, well, perhaps he flipped it up. So he picked up the little pretzel and then had the meatball on the end of it. He thought perhaps it has something to do with the torches that Samson tied to the fox's tails.
Okay. Oh.
And I was like, oh, that's clever. And no, it's not that at all, but maybe that's a future craft item, because I told them the theme was judges, so they knew that. And I was like, I think we skipped over this. I think you skipped over this story.
If you say Ehud and Eglon, I'm dead.
I really tried hard to think how to do that story, but I decided against it. So it's not that one. Instead, it is JL Sarah. And yes, but it's delicious. Let me tell you. But it's most effective when you actually stab each meatball yourself with the pretzel. Then it really drives home.
It's an interactive snack.
Yes.
Stab your own meatball.
You could do this one with hashtag nailed it.
Well, I pegged it.
Exactly.
You put little facial features on the meatball. Like,
you could take this so much
R-rated
further. Yeah, exactly.
Messiah Lutheran Church is going to be like, Erin Alter can never coordinate VBS.
That's why I said I sort of went a little bit off track.
You're going to be blacklisted. Oh, you are not in good standing at an LCMS congregation.
And I thought about, but did not make. Like, Judges just gets darker and darker. And so I thought about making, like, I was like, I could, like, make a chicken and have that one just sort of chopped up into parts, because there's the story at the end where the poor woman gets chopped up into parts and mailed to all the different parts of Israel. But I decided I'm not going to do that one.
You made little envelopes out of puff pastry.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Oh my
But I drew the line and I said, no, I won't do it.
I think I'm in a really bad place
But-
right now.
The dark side of VBS.
If you were going to have one more snack, I did think about, and I was torn on this. I feel with the VBS that I've currently laid out, it would work. But it would be, again, not highly appropriate. But anyway, the way Judges ends, the very last verse in Judges says that in those days, Israel had there was no king in Israel, and every man did what was right in his own eyes.
Oh no.
And so I thought the way, if you were going to like that, another snack that would work for that would be like a build your own Sunday bar. Every man does what is right in his own eyes.
Okay, that's way better than what I thought you were going to go.
Uh-huh.
I feel like you have the wrong impression of what the meaning of that statement is, though. It's not a good thing. I feel like a Sunday bar would make them think it was a good thing.
Exactly. And so again, I did not, you'll notice there is no picture that goes with that one. That was part of my thought process. But I was
would
like,
be like
oh, it
the
would
vision
work.
casting of it.
This is like VBS gone wrong in many ways. All of these things are. These are VBSs you would never do. And so if you were going to follow that,
Oh my goodness.
you could try and do a whole VBS for Judges.
It would be a Sunday bar of all your least favorite foods, though.
like like bugs,
shrimp,
like worms and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my god. A shrimp Sunday bar with octopus
And like rum raisin ice cream, like the ice cream nobody eats.
Luther loves that ice cream.
Oh,
horror.
My
just
husband,
Luther.
though.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, Brussels sprouts and lima beans. And
that's
So
actually not
the moral of that story would be you can do whatever you like, but none of your options are good. Because without God, it's all bad.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I love it.
oh my goodness,
Yes.
fish sauce.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Tangy.
so that's how I failed this Iron Ladle challenge.
You may have
But
won it. You
it
failed
was
so hard.
so delicious.
This lion is gonna
I've
be
got
my
no regrets.
iPhone background.
Oh my
I'm making
goodness.
it right now.
My body hurts from laughing right now.
Don't take this the wrong way, but its face is so stupid that I love it. Like it's just
He's just got a disco big old giant.
it's like disco
giant
depression.
hair.
He's
It's-
I will tell you though, if you could find another story to tie in those meatballs with pretzel sticks, like we can work with that because I feel like those would be a hit. I've never known a kid that didn't love meatballs.
Oh, exactly.
True.
And that would be delicious. I looked at it the first time and I thought, well, Mjolnir the hammer isn't in the Bible because my first thought was this looks like Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
But surely there's some other story that you could find meatballs because that is an inspired idea for a VBS snack.
Yeah.
it kind of looks like a holy hand grenade of Antioch.
It does.
Huh.
That
Without
shows
the
up
cross
in,
piece.
shows up in several episodes.
It always does. I love it.
Oh, idea. Meatball-based VBS craft. Take a roll, scoop out the middle, put the meatball in front, and you've got the empty tube.
Okay.
Hey!
I like that.
That's a really good idea. Like the savory week for
I
VBS.
saw that with donuts, but I feel like meatballs would be.
I did.
I like that.
I like meatballs better than.
I would eat
Better
a
than
meatball
donuts.
before a donut, probably.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a really good idea.
Oh my god!
I feel like we should submit these ideas to CPH and see what they run with them.
I want to keep my job, Sarah.
Why don't you do a VBS week on judges?
I
Your
tried
thing
really
would be
hard
We have
great.
snack ideas.
I tried really hard to think of how to get a golden fleece snack.
Ooh,
'Cause that was-
honeycomb. Honeycomb is actually a thing. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly. And like I already had the honey. I couldn't redo it. So I
Ooh.
couldn't come up with anything.
You could do like an open-sided like roll or something, so the top is fluffy, and then get edible gold glitter and just glitter the
What
top
about
of it.
cotton candy?
Oh, cotton candy!
It's not usually gold.
You can. I'm sure
get
somebody
gold
makes
cotton
gold cotton
candy.
candy.
Wait,
I
are
mean,
we
yum.
mixing up our stories here? Because the golden fleece was from Greek mythology. The wet fleece was from Judges.
You're
You're
right.
right.
So it wouldn't need to be gold. You're right. The fleece
We're just
though.
having that.
But with the wet, that was part of it.
Oh,
I was
wet
like
fleece.
cotton candy.
Lick
wet
dissolves.
is terrible. That's
Lick it.
disgusting. That's a horror.
Good
food.
luck getting wet
Yeah.
out of cotton
Yeah.
candy.
Ugh.
Right.
That
No,
would
I
be
was
kinda
like,
gross.
again, that's why I was like, nope. It needs to be tasty, even if it's disturbing. So,
Some kind of a gelatin-based dessert that has like a fluffy top to it would totally work for fleece, though.
Right.
It wouldn't be savory.
maybe.
I don't know.
Savory
Okay.
cotton candy. I just had an idea.
Whoa.
Disgusting.
Garlic flavored?
Oh, we're all in a bad place right now.
I think we need to segue and ask our listeners to help us by coming up with their own craft/snack ideas for VBS, because obviously we're scraping bottom.
What's your favorite VBS snack, either that you've seen or that you've made, or your idea? Maybe you've invented your own VBS snack. It should ideally stick to an actual Bible story.
One that's VBS appropriate.
Don't try to outmorbid Erin's ideas. Like, please. I want to have some iota of faith in humanity after this.
I'm just glad we did yours last.
There was no way I was going to talk about mine after yours. Be like, oh, I forgot. I didn't do it.
Seriously though, Erin, of all the VBS snacks we discussed, yours are the ones that I'd be going back for seconds on. Those look
right.
really
That's true.
delicious.
That's right. You see my priorities there.
Yes.
Love it.
Oh my goodness. Well, ladies, if you've made it this far into the episode, congratulations.
I don't have to do crunches for a week.
Maybe your abs aren't as much as ours do from all the laughing. Again, if you missed the what we were all laughing about, so this is partially a visual episode now that Erin has told us what she's talking about. The images are in our show notes. They're also they will be posted with this episode, so you'll be able to see what we're cackling about, because you have to see it to know what's happening. So we will make sure that those pictures are in front of you as well, so you can enjoy this with us. We do want to know your favorite VBS snacks, maybe your worst VBS snacks, or somewhere in between. We would love to know those. If you want to share those with us in our Facebook group, the Lutheran Ladies Lounge on Facebook, share them on your Instagram as well. Tag us at Lutheran Ladies Lounge. We would be happy to share them since it is VBS season. We are celebrating all things VBS right now. You can find all of our podcasts, including our previous Iron Ladle challenges, which I don't think any of them have been this hilarious, to be honest. This one kind of takes the cake for that. You can find all of those episodes at kfuo.org/Lutheran Ladies Lounge or on your favorite podcasting app. You're listening to the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast. I'm Sarah.
I'm Erin.
I'm not even.
And I'm Rachel.
Oh my! Look at it! Look at this!
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be the Halloween costume of 2021. Is like the disgruntled.
Views and opinions expressed on the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast may not represent the official position of the management or ownership of KFUO Radio, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. The Lutheran Ladies Lounge is produced by KFUO Radio and available at kfuo.org or wherever you get your podcasts. Join our community on Facebook in the Lutheran Ladies Lounge. I got the laughing crud in my throat. It's
I
bad.
do too now.